Yellow, everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. I'm just a little bit behind in posting things where they need to go. So much so, oh my god, please stop pressing all the fucking wrong buttons, PB. I'm in no rush. So I need to grab this link. And I need to open this link. Then I need to come over here. Oh, you guys can't see me. There we go. Hi. Surprise. Come over here. I need to post that there. And then I need to yoink both of those things. I need to redo the Discord soon to make it like a community thing or something, but I don't even know. Oh, damn. This is really calling out Kalino, huh? Oh, I need to send that to Callan because that's so funny. There we go. All right. Now that that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. I've posted that there. I've posted that there. And dude, I don't know what it is, but like there's just out of my 10 knuckles on all of my fingies, one of them is like super dry, and so is like my knuckle and then like my one of my like finger knuckles are super dry. Don't know what. It's not even the main one. It's like the tiny one next to your fingernail. It's so annoying. Anyways, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. I hope you guys are proud of me. I did not take a nap, despite being sleepy. I need to work on these cards, and it's the most stressful point of doing any of this art stuff, for one of our games is getting this, like, stylistically, what do I want it to look like, you know? Once I get that down, I feel a lot more comfortable. Like, I'm still stressed because of the time crunch, but I'm not stressed because of, like, I don't know what to do. It's just that I don't have the time to do what I need to do, if that makes any sense. I've did literally no work on this. I was so tired. I spent yesterday. So the reason I did an early stream yesterday, and I'm doing another early stream today, is because I'm busy in the evenings. But yesterday I had a meeting with Colino about our 100 Days of Horror. We have decided our mod pack we're going to be playing. We've decided tentatively what our schedule is going to be. We've decided we are going to be RPing a story out, and we have decided on what that story will be. And more or less, I think we're going to have a map. And it's just a little bit of experimentation I gotta be doing here in the future. And I did a little bit last night, and I'm gonna continue probably to do some tonight. It's gonna be a whole thing. Doesn't matter. But we got all of that done yesterday evening. But I was so tired. Oh my gosh, I was so sleepy. I had to be like, I gotta go eat before I knock out at the end of it. And so I went to go eat, and then I almost immediately knocked out. I was so eepy. I was just so tired. Waking up early is like not my vibe. Let me tell you that right now. Today I'm also busy in the afternoon, so we're not getting a super long stream today. But we have a few hours, about the same time we had yesterday, if not a little bit longer. But going into this, I do want to, so Reddit works now, and I was able to find the comment, someone wrote that kind of gave me kind of like a different different appreciation for what dark academia could be, and what has given me like the push to kind of try and merge just like Mexican culture with dark academia. And it is where is it? This person deleted account at this point. They have said that their entire so this comes from a Reddit post that asks that says foreign dark academia ? Basically, I want to know what dark academia looks like for people who love a dark academia aesthetic without it being Europe centered. What does Indian or Asiatic or African dark academia look like? What does Middle Eastern dark academia look like, or Latin American dark academia? We can't look at Egyptology and not admit it's delightfully dark. Sorry, I just realized I need to also open the PDF so we all know what we're working on today. It's mostly just for the logo. I really should just get the picture instead of opening the PDF every time. Oh, you guys can see that. That's funny. Let me just boop. There we go. And this was literally one of the first posts that popped up when I was just like, dark academia foreign question mark or not non-Eurocentric dark academia, I think is what I googled. And then a lot of these are just people being like, hey, I'm from so and so, and these are like, yes, we do have dark academia, and this is kind of like how it goes, how it looks like for this and looks like for that. For example, the top comment is from someone from Brazil, and they're like, oh, on like Tumblr, there's tags for like Latin academia, Latino academia, Brazilian academia, and probably other Latin American countries also have country name academia also. And they said that they see a lot of people dreaming about the public free unis and posting aesthetic pics of them and going to the beach and always bringing a book or a Kindle so you can read it with the sun touching your skin and the sweet breeze of the sea. And a lot of that. And then someone talking about how they're pretty into ancient Mediterranean dark academia, where there's like open balcony doors, long loose linen curtains billowing in the wind of the green stormy seas on the horizon, braziers burning with coals and herbs in the corners, and the small oil lamp flickering on a desk with the only light from flashing lightning, scrolls, charts, litter desktops, held down by shells and smooth stones, which really caught my attention. A small wooden model of a trireme, painted in blue and white, stands towards the front of the desk, lounging languidly in the chair behind the desk, glassy-eyed, staring at the sea. A large earthen goblet full of wine perched in their hand near an empty earthenware decanter on the side on the floor, dribbling a trail of wine. And that's like, what they, see as ancient Mediterranean dark academia. And then this is the comment that caught my attention, is from the deleted account. I consider dark academia to be worldly, exploring streets, markets of Morocco, taking in the sights and fragrances and the art. Mexico City is the home to many stunning anthropology museums, which it is. It's a destination I'm trying to get to in the next 12 months. Shout out. Egyptology is essentially dark academia to me. Egypt held the Library of Alexandria, and its ancient culture is incredibly interesting. Dark academia is at the intersection of art, recorded history, and culture and tradition, which is all over the world. And it's that last sentence that really stood out to me. Dark academia is at the intersection of art, recorded history, and culture and tradition. Because I'm like, you know what? If I were to like really look at what dark academia, especially Eurocentric dark academia is, and I were to devolve it to it's more the barest of framework. It is academia. It's, education, that culture, that very Oxford culture, that like that schoolboy look that they have over there in Europe, like the sweaters, the chinos, the collared shirts under the sweaters, or the white button-ups with like with the tie and the blazer on. The boat shoes, like that's the large coats that they walk around, just like how the atmosphere is always kind of like dank and dark and overcast, and how the buildings are there. The aesthetic is like that gothic almost look, because that is kind of like just what it is over there. Their older buildings are all like that. So if we were to take those same elements and apply it to other cultures, right? Like the the look of the study, like those who go to university, what are they wearing? What are they looking at? What typically do they look like? What did the schools look like? What does the culture usually look like? Historically, what does it mean? And Mexico to me is very interesting when it comes to this, because Mexico is such an amalgamation of so many cultures at this point. Because Mexico has typically been very welcoming towards other cultures entering the country. Not you, Spain. And like even the influences on the Spanish that like Turkey had, and a lot of those Middle Eastern countries, that I forget what it is, the historical words for it, but their influence on the Spanish, and the Spanish coming over and making a mess of Mexico at that time. And so we have so many influences from places typically like Turkey. And I've recently learned that there's some Armenian influences. I know that there's Chinese influences, and I know there's, Spanish influences. There are so many, like there's Polish influences in our music and some of our wear, like all of that as a whole makes it interesting for me to do a lot of this, because it's so dark and dank in England, and that's why it's so dark there. But in most other countries, it's not like that. So having this aesthetic not be overcast, like what does that mean for the dark park or the dark academia, right? Because I then, when I went over to Pinterest and I looked at Pinterest and I looked up Latino dark academia, and there's, several things on here, arguably dark academia or not. One of the things that shows up is this article that somebody called hotgirlsbooks.wordpress.com wrote at the end of 2023, November 14th, 2023 to be exact. And I don't know who this person is. This is the first time I've ever heard of them, but they have they wrote this blog post, which is why dark academia has to be white. And, that did ruffle my feathers when I first read it. And so, but I tried to go into reading this with an open mind, to not just immediately take everything in bad faith as I read it. But boy, oh boy, was it hard to do so in the first couple of paragraphs. Because it starts off saying, like, I see a lot of posts decrying the lack of diversity in dark academia. The call for niche markets flavored by the details and designs of other cultures. You see pleas for a dark academia novel steeped in the ancient writings of India or China, rallying calls asking that such and such a character be plugged into the dark academia formula. A South American dark academia story, a South African one. I can't help but think this is missing the point. To be clear, I'm not talking about the style, which arguably I think is what dark academia is, but neither here nor there. Decorate your bedroom in whatever way you like. Organize your study spo mood boards using models of every race and size, please. People should wear whatever makes them feel bold, beautiful, and sexy, and the only time complexion should come into it is when selecting foundation shades. I'm talking about genre, and the genre of dark academia simply can't be diversified, which I don't think I necessarily agree with their point, but we can continue reading this so you guys can see where they're coming from. What are the typical tropes of dark academia? They wrote unseductive upper class clique. A devoted, if sometimes oblivious teacher, the writings of the classics, Roman, Greek, Shakespeare, seeping into our very modern lives. There's poetry, there's obsession, there's drugs and alcohol, and then usually there's a brutal murder. And while it seems well and good to apply these tropes to other stories, other schools, other histories, there are very good reasons why you can't. I can't wait to hear about them. Dark Academia is not a celebration. I'm so sorry, Huanga. I don't want you to be playing while I'm reading this. Dark Academia is not a celebration, it is a critique. I am always charmed to see the Dark Academia community completely refuse to acknowledge this in lieu of photographs of large libraries and candle-lit study sessions. But the whole idea of the genre is to dig deep into the foundations of Western civilization, past the tea parties and the sweater sets and the very dignified, rumpled tweed. The point is to unearth the savagery of intellectualism. The point is to find blood. Dark Academia finds the raw, dangerous undercurrent of life that Europe has spent 2,000 years burying under tradition, translation, and time. It incites desire, demands murder, sex, and indulgence, perverts the very act that's supposed to keep these feelings repressed, namely education. It looks at privileged, brilliant people and reveals that they're violent, passionate, and drinking themselves to death just like everybody else. Similarly, I've seen the admonishment that you don't have to smoke to be a dark academic. Again, do what you like, but a character in a dark academic novel must smoke. The symbol of sophistication and glamour which quietly addicts and kills you, there's no greater tragic metaphor to be found. Is this to say that other cultures don't have their own animal selves to discover? Of course not. We all have shadows to dance with. The problem is people of color have had centuries of the same civilization labeling them as only having that side. Let's say we dig deep into Mexican history and the legacy of the Aztecs, the grisly sacrifice and complex mythology, and then we overlay the concept onto the lives of some young Latino men coming of age in America today. Racist politicians are calling them thugs and rapists on television. Police officers pull them over to check their citizenships. People who look like them are locked up in detention centers, and all while the spirit of Mictlantecuhtli, what? The spirit of Mictlantecuhtli is whispering in their ear until they reach a breaking point and snap. Over the course of the novel, we discover that though we thought these boys were the best of the best, underneath their civilized studious veneer, they have the capacity for murder baked into the very thing they're seemingly using to better themselves. Look, maybe that novel could be written without descending into racist caricature, but it wouldn't be dark academia. It doesn't mean the same thing. Context is everything. These young men are on the wrong side of cultural assumption for us to find a morbid delight in their revealed carnality. To do so only more firmly embeds the stereotypes we've all been raised with. A seemingly sedate white girl, on the other hand, wealthy, intelligent, beautiful, and above all privileged, her viciousness says something very different. So yes, dark academia must be white. It must also be, for the most part, thin, rich, able-bodied, and in all ways enfranchised. I can hear a wave of protests bringing up the proliferation of LGBTQ characters in dark academia novels. Firstly, let's acknowledge that the majority of those characters fall into the male, white, GMB categories. Secondly, while characters may engage in gay behavior, they're almost never identified as gay. In fact, intense homoeroticism is very often the first sign that something is wrong. Things are not as they appear. The first mask drop, the first secret revealed, leading to a darker, more insidious secrets as the story progresses. There are no happy, well-adjusted gay couples in dark academia novels because there are no happy, well-adjusted people in dark academia novels. Instead, there is shame, secrecy, the public facade of heterosexuality. The difference, the otherness, is always hidden, only to be revealed at the worst possible moment. Now, please don't think I'm saying there isn't room for writers of color in dark academia. On the contrary, I think specifically of White is for Witching, a dark academia adjacent novel written by Nigerian-born Helen Oyeyemi. But note the title. This book works because it confronts and explores concepts of whiteness, racism, xenophobia, and inherent darkness in the civilized, in quotes, white culture of Britain. What it does not do is rehash the plot of The Secret History with an all black Black cast, that just doesn't work. In the desire for diversity, we sometimes overlook these intricacies. We have to look more closely at things, explore deeper themes and broader context. We have to, funnily enough, be academic in our exploration of dark academia, or we'll lose the very core of what makes it great. I inherently disagree with this, Sig. I think I see where they're coming from, and I understand. By reading this, I understand what they understand dark academia to be. Which I agree, that dark academia is a lot of these things. It is the poetry, it's classic seeping into modern life. It's a seductive upper class clique, and the devotions to an oblivious teacher. There's the obsession to drugs, the alcohol, and, you know, the brutality of it all, of this intellectualism of the upper class, being, you know, that deeper story, that the reason it's not just called academia, the aesthetic of academia, is because there needs to be something dark about it. What I don't inherently agree with, and I think is very funny when reading this, because they inherently don't believe that, like, they believe themselves to be above what they've written, you know, like, they believe they do not see this in the lens that they are pointing out, that, like, dark academia must be in Western civilization, because otherwise it would be racist to put these same things on top of any other culture. And I know that they think that they don't see it in the same lens, because when they try so hard to write an example as to why it cannot work, all I can think of, the author Hot Girl Books does not see the irony of her writing it, that they say, like, in the paragraph where they give the example of, you know, Mexican history or whatever, I already thought we were already gonna write walk a very thin line when they started off with, is this to say that other cultures don't have their own animal cells to discover? Because we all know that there is a history of white people, Europeans, and those of European descent, referring to people of color, of any and all locations of the earth as animals. So I was already like, ooh. And then they're like, of course not. And then they're like, we all have shadows to dance with. And then I thought they kind of saved themselves by being like, the problem is people of color have had centuries of the same civilization labeling them as only having that side. And I think it's really funny that they did not double down and repeat and say animal there. Because it's like, you didn't need to say that. You know, you didn't need to use an example as, I think they just really wanted to, like, nail in this idea that it's racist to have these tropes for people of color. But I think that in itself is racist, almost. And so we continue on in the same paragraph, and it's like, let's say we dip deep into Mexican history and the legacy of the Aztecs and the grisly sacrifice and complex mythology. It's not that complex. Mythology is mythology. You wouldn't call Roman mythology complex. You would just call it mythology. So, like, let's check ourselves before we wreck ourselves here. And then and also grisly sacrifice. Is that not the same thing we were talking about before about what dark academia is? Are we not just setting up that this would be a really interesting concept for dark academia? And And then we overlay the concept onto the lives of some young Latino men. Let's come back here. Dig deep into Mexican history and the legacy of Aztecs. First of all, there are many, many indigenous peoples of Mexico, of the Mexican area. Again, Mexico used to be a lot larger than it is now. It's only in recent history that it's become a little bit smaller. But a lot of places, there are many, many native and indigenous peoples of Mexico. Aztecs just make up a large portion of them because they are the ones that were like most recent. But I don't even think it's the most practiced, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter. Then we overlay the concepts of the lives of some young Latino men, young Mexican men, because in this example, we're talking Mexican history, but we're trying so hard to be politically correct in this. Of young Mexican, what should be Mexican men, young Latino men coming of age in America today. Why are they in America? If we are overlaying this idea of dark academia on top of a different culture, in this case, Mexican history and the legacy of Aztecs, why are they in America? Why are they in America? Why are they in America? Is this because you don't think that Mexico has universities? Do you think that there is not an adequate education system in Mexico? That these young Latino men can't get this in Mexico? Or is it just because you wanted to serve your own narrative here, where you talk about racist politicians calling them thugs and rapists on TV, police officers pulling them over to check their citizenships, and people who look like them are locked up in detention camps, all while the spirit of Mictlantecuhtli is whispering in their ear until reaching their breaking point and snap. Well, first, before I talk about Mictlantecuhtli, let me just make sure I'm getting the correct one. It is. I'm not on top of my mythology. I don't really know a ton about mythology in the Aztec pantheon. That's what it's called. My most recent time I got a little bit of a refresher was when I was watching, what is it called? Maya. Oh God, it's on Netflix. It's Maya something. It's very good. Very much recommended. I watched it with Jackie a couple of last year, I think, when it first came out. Yeah, he's a basically Mictlan is the god of the dead, essentially. Lord of Mictlan. I'm sorry, Lord of Mictlan. Mictlan is a portion of the underworld, essentially, and he covers. He's about that. Anyway, so I just thought it was interesting that's whomst they chose. Because we have God of Wars also. So I'm very, and also death doesn't mean the same in Mexico. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's very clear that this person doesn't know a lot about Mexican history, and that's fine. It's just interesting. That they did they went through a little bit of effort to do some research, but not a ton. But yeah, so of course, and so they finish it. Let's just finish off the paragraph again. Over the course of the novel, we discover that though we thought these boys were the best of the best, underneath their civilized, studious veneer, they have the capacity for murder baked into the very thing they seemingly use to better themselves. I'm just and we talked about this a little bit, and I noticed it above when they were talking about what are the typical tropes of dark academia. After talking about a seductive upper class clique, a devoted, if sometimes oblivious teacher. The writings of the classics, Roman, Greek, Shakespeare, seeping into their modern lives. There's poetry, there's obsession, there's drugs and alcohol. You can't, and they even say there are criticisms you can make in every culture, but they go ahead and argue that dark academia can't be anything but Western white because it is a criticism on Europeans believing that they are above the brutality that is is perverse in their in these lives, that these self-proclaimed higher beings are actually just as fucked as anybody else, and they aren't better than anyone else, right? But I think about that, and there's that story that exists everywhere, and I think it is a disservice to... there is a disservice. I think they have an understanding of what dark academia is and not what dark academia represents, Because I do believe that is dark academia. That notion is dark academia. But dark academia very much can exist in any culture. As they were talking about all these things, I'm thinking of one of the things that is very rampant in Mexico is violence against women. Violence against women is very, very huge in Mexico. It's a very huge issue. And it's swept under the rug a lot. Historically, there has been a power imbalance between the police, the police and politics, politicians, cartels, and just regular people. All of that in and of itself, I think, have very interesting stories to be told and can be told in dark academia. I think the issue a lot of the time is that it's written... people don't see that in the same way that Latinos are devolved into just being very sexy, and very sensual, into sexuality. That's what being Latino is devolved into in a lot of white states, is them being a sexual object, essentially. Which is reductive, obviously. But because of that, I guess that's there's no real good Latino stories that are told really almost ever at all in America, let alone over in Europe, right? And it's there's also this idea that this person talks about other cultures, people of color. There's white people, white Europeans, white Western Europeans that aren't part of the aesthetic of England, the English, right? The Spanish, the Italian. And I think it serves that their issue again is that other cultures, there's some exoticism there, as opposed to seeing them as their own people, rather seeing them as something exotic. And because of the reductism, there is this lack of looking past that and into the stories that could be told within those cultures that aren't English centric, British centric. It's just interesting to me. So I read that and I was like, I see where this person is coming from. I see what they imagine to be dark academia. And what I've realized is that what I really need to do as I look through this, and it was already like the intention I was going into it, was really working against this idea, this vision of dark academia, this Eurocentric. I you know what? Maybe Eurocentric isn't the correct word at this point, because obviously this person says Europe, but they mean English. They mean England. They mean the UK. That is what they envision. They're envisioning Oxford, and I was like, I even was just like thinking and challenging what they were saying in my mind as I was reading it, as to like some of these tropes that even challenge the tropes of dark academia, like what is that movie that just came out that made that dude really famous all of a sudden? Hold on. I don't remember the name of that movie, but I do know the name of a movie I did like him in. Like Saltburn. Saltburn, I would argue, probably falls into that kind of into dark academia. Because it is these like, upper class, well-educated individuals that are actually all fucked, and so I also think about what was the other thing I thought about? Oh, it was such a good example too. Saltburn, fucked. Also, I thought about it because of the white GMB, as they referred to it. What was the other Knives Out. Knives Out was the other example I thought of, a bunch of like educated, supposedly, better than upper white class people, also, being all, it's a movie about it's a murder mystery. So that's also what I would argue falls under kind of like dark academia. If we don't have it, because this person also is trying not to reduce dark academia to what I would argue, they use a lot of words to say this, but when I feel what they meant is this little aesthetic that you guys do, this little fun you guys have with your little outfits and your little sage green backgrounds. It felt like, definitely they were like, no, I'm not saying you can't do that. It really felt very backhanded reading some of those of what she said. But I think it's inherently racist, the take, even though they don't mean it to be. And in fact, they believe they are going out of their way to prove why they aren't racist by having this take. And if you don't look too hard into it, I think you could believe that. But if you gave it any extra thought, I think you would immediately get it. So I think that's why I think this has emboldened me just a little bit more to challenge what dark academia is going to mean to us here. And has challenged me even more to kind of come up with some sort of aesthetic that kind of just serves what I want this to be, right? So enough with all this yapping. It's been long enough. Let's try this out. The scary part, which is me trying to figure out how the fuck. A part of me just wants to work on the mariachi here. So I don't have to think about how I'm going to do the coloring on this. Because I don't know how I'm gonna do the coloring on this, and that's truly terrifying, actually. So, how am I going to do this? So yesterday we worked on these outlines, and I tried to come up with some sort of like coloring to do here. But again, as we're challenging this narrative of what it means to be dark academia in this, because this is so very much not in that aesthetic, right? When you think dark academia, you think dark dank, you think essentially sorry, I need to move this over so I could see my audio. In dark dank, you think certainly different architecture, but that's not what I want to do here. And also, I need to think about what I want to do to this mariachi to get him to look a little bit more magical. I might make like the details on his side. So I talked about yesterday how I want his outfit to be black, which is another challenge here, that I don't want the background to be too dark because I want to assure that he also stands out. But I want his out here to be I want this to be the color that we see, right? Like all of this is going to be the color and his little scarf here. All of that, and also probably the rim of this hat, as it is typically also has some interesting stuff on it. So I'm thinking with the like fancy stuff that's going to be going on in here, which again, don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm thinking I want that to glow. To be glowy, right? I have to come up with some sort of glowing runes along this. Maybe we try and keep up with this idea of having musical notes and being the runes for him. So maybe I do something bright like that. I just need to find like a good solid glow color off of it. I don't know. We'll think about it. But like have some sort of glowing edge like that maybe is what we need. And then we have, I don't know, some sort of ultimate blue glow coming off of all of this. And I just have to think really hard about how light reflects off of everything. Maybe even like the strings are magical or something. I don't know. Or maybe I just make his hands magical. And that's what makes the string that's what makes this be magical. Just to work on the mariachi. What time is it? 5:20? Let me just take a drink of water here. All right. Oh, that's me. So sorry. If I were to come over here and turn you on, there we go. Let's see. You are my mariachi. You are my mariachi. Well, let's just do that. I worked from the hat out last time, and I like that kind of approach. So let's continue with our approach of hat out. Up this stabilization to get I want to make the hat a little bit bigger, but I keep hitting something. Oh, gosh, okay. Let me move this desk a little bit so I can comfortably get up here and get some smoother strokes going. So if I want it to be bigger, mariachi hats are actually pretty fucking enormous. Actually didn't hate that one, but we out here. Let me look up a mariachi just so I have a reference. Mariachi. I had one up for before when I drew him the first time. At a very specific gentleman I was looking at. So I'm going to continue to look at this gentleman. Except I chose to go with sort of like the shadow underneath. So we couldn't see, so I didn't have to worry about this guy's face, aka the eyes. But typically the rim flips up. But I don't think I wanted to flip up in this case. Okay, I need to look at other versions of this hat so I can make some decisions here. All of these hats have the rim going up, but I don't know how I would do that. Like that has a little bit more of that energy. Unfortunately, I'm having a very hard time seeing uh seeing what I'm doing with that background. So let me just take it out. Okay, and the hat. So what's gonna go on here is there's usually oh, 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 usually some filigree going on here. Which is usually like plants of some sort. Okay, it all usually goes the same direction. No, this is Vicente Fernandez. I always think it's Javier Solis because he, I believe, has a song about being a clown or calling himself a clown. And I believe it's a song about him cheating, which is phenomenal. What else can we do here? Okay, and looking at this, it appears that we just kind of keep going in the same direction with the filling, like the pattern. It doesn't like switch sides all of a sudden. Make sure these look like dots at the end. A little lazy with the dots. Okay. This one in particular had stitching at the bottom of this. I need to let go and pick up my pen every once in a while when I like the line I've done so far. So when I fuck up the line in further on, I don't have to redo the whole damn thing. Do something like this. All right. How else do I want to? There's probably also. Okay, so first thing. Okay, so. The thing is that I need to have some sort of distinction between the rim and the rest of this hat. However, that means I have to decide on. I need more of these people to be looking down. I'm getting the distinct impression that you usually don't see the hat part. You only see the brim part. Oh, here we go. This is a good angle. Okay, it looks like the hat part is also has some intricacies to it. Hmm. Oh, okay. Let's come back. Come back. We have the rest of the edge of this also be white. Because the other thing I have to keep in mind is that I'm this but magic, right? Like this is a bard. This mariachi is essentially this world's equivalent of a bard. You don't remember that erasing on the actual color is basically like just coloring it back in? Also just do the top of this be white. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just make better lines. I need to be more bold with my lines too. I think they're a little too thin. Eh. Let me make this a bolder line then. Oh, that's right. These are on different layers. Hold on. Yeah. I'm like, why is the black not erasing in the background? Oh my god, I just saw the chacal there. What? I I don't know, like blended it or something? I'm just gonna steal that gray though. Sorry. Maybe that'll be enough to like create a convincing. Oh, how do I turn the canvas without just having to do this? I guess we're just gonna have to do that. I'm gonna lose my mind, but that's fine. Take a good drink of water. Hey, Kalino! How you doing today? How are you doing on this fine Friday? Friday? Are you enjoying being able to drive again? Just doing the whole thing, I think. Oh yeah, I should just do it on the whole thing, huh? I'll just have to come back over this with white. All right, just got home. I'm driving, but man, road rage hasn't gone down at all. I have to imagine you're more frustrated now. Am I in love with it? No, but are we just gonna keep going with it? Yeah. I don't like it. Oh, thank you. Well, step one done. Get the hat done. Now to do the literal rest of him. Let's go back to this guy, our reference point. I didn't have a mouth on the original guy, and I think that's a good decision to keep. It's not nearly as a big a deal as I'm making it out to be. All right, now I have to really pay attention to this. Oh, let me actually, before I do that, let me just make sure I bring back the white brim here. All right, where's this other one? It does come up pretty high. So, okay. Let me actually just frame out the shoulder and stuff. Okay, because then we have like the suits. I don't know what it's called. Lapel? I have no idea what it's called. Oh, shit. And then before that, we have our collar, basically. I thought we were going to see that line. But we are going to see this collar. Because the other thing that exists that's going to go over both of these is this scarf, essentially. Hey, Mr. Limey, what's up? You see, like, some, like, up-close pictures of this. Oh, there we go. They're kind of all the same. Hope you're doing well on this. Well, my evening, you're probably early morning. Doing this on top of the previously established clothing is so confusing. Not like all of this gonna get. I'm just now gonna get erased. So Kalina, I was in the mod pack yesterday, looking around to see if I could find a good seed, and I found out that one of the existing mods, don't know which one, but one of the mods does add some buildings, adds a couple of towers, and they're not what do I want to call them? Like some rests, some like some places of rest. Exist. It's just 1 in the morning. Some rest stops, maybe? For some caravans maybe? Are also there. And some underground stuff it adds also, I noticed while I was flying around. I also found out that I cannot get large biomes to work, which is wildly annoying. Because I was hoping to get like one of the forest biomes. Oh, have a nice little lurk. Like the mod pack, like in any of the worlds I create, if I choose a large biome, option, it doesn't pop up on my PC. I cannot get it to work, and I do not know why. Let me go over here. It is very weird. Also, very obnoxious. Because I was hoping to get like a good solid forest going. At least for the beginning. I'm mad about this because I wish these were flipped. Um, and that's gonna make this real annoying. I'm hoping I could just kind of like do this. It is weird. Also annoying. I'm unhappy about it. The fact it doesn't do large biomes. As far as I can tell, it's should be able to. I don't know if it's just like my instance of it or something, but it just does not. Wider, and I think I'll be happy with this. It's probably, admittedly, would probably have been just easier to redraw these, but here we are. But now I'm wondering if I just do like a single biome, if we just do like one big forest. And we just cosplay going up to the like Pacific Northwest. It's large biomes are working for you. Maybe I just need to re-download it. Just need to re-download the mod pack. Where did you download it? Did you do it on Modrinth or did you do it on CurseForge? I also found this building and this villager is giving me some backstory and the music in the background is something. Yeah, the cultist. I saw that guy. I've been doing what I can to avoid as much of the content inside of some of these buildings. But it's very hard when they keep appearing. There's also like a library. Something with the underground stuff. But I'm hoping to find a seed where we spawn in somewhere with a ton of forest. Coniferous or redwood. Those are the two with the really tall trees. I looked at ominous earlier. The ominous forest when I was doing single biome. And it's fine and all. The issue mostly I have with it is all of the wither roses just hanging out all over the place. And I can only imagine how annoying that's going to be in the long run. Especially with shaders on, it becomes a lot harder to see the wither roses. It's harder to see everything with shaders on. I also have an idea that I want to run by you later to see where you're at with it. I want the record to show I know I'm the resident music person here, but I don't know much about the guitar. Guitar was not something that was covered in my education. That was a 5 p.m. class on a Friday. And everyone in the music department told me it was not a worthwhile class to take. Little did they know how much money they would be losing me by telling me that. I've had so many people ask me to teach them guitar in my lifetime since leaving college. And I just have to be like, oh, sorry, I don't actually know how to... I don't actually know anything about the guitar. And they're like, but you have a little guitar right there. And I'm like, that's technically a ukulele, and I technically don't know how to play that either, so... checkmate. What does the guitar look like? Okay. Alright. This guitar's a little low. Cerrado. Looks a little bit like a baby. The suspense be suspended. All right, I'm done. Yeah, it looks like the biomes work. What did you need to ask me? I'll tell you in DM later. Because I think it would be a fun little thingy thing. Oh yeah, I flew around in what I did when and I will continue doing as I look for a seed is I change the world to peaceful. I'm immediately in creative, and I have shaders off, and music off, because the very first seed I tried out spawned me at the very top of a coniferous tree, so I was super high up. I was doing other things at the time, so I wasn't looking at the game as I spawned in, or as it was spawning in the area, and I So by the time I tabbed back in, things were progressing, and I tabbed in the music immediately. The violins were doing their violin in, and the spooky noises were spooky noising. And it was getting louder and louder, like something was approaching me. And I was like, I don't like this. And so I was like in survival. I was at the top of this tree. I don't even know what possibly could get me up there. Point is I didn't want to find out. So I immediately turned everything off. I was like, all right, no, fuck this. I'm in peaceful, and I'm going to be turn the music all the way off. Turning off these shaders, no thank you. And I immediately fled from the area. I was big spooked. And from there on out, I tried my best to remember to start every world in creative and in creative. In peaceful and in creative. Because boy oh boy, I was spooked. I was big spooked. I can't help but notice, but this is almost exactly the same spot. This is that before. Okay, I feel it's a little bit better. How did the top of these things go? Okay, they have like a little piquito right there. I'm at 100 stabilization. Let's drop that back down. Okay. Oh, that's right. You have like little fret things. Here's the thing, though. I'm gonna make some decisions about color here. Because again, this is magic. Magic school. Magic dark academia. And I think I've decided that I want the person to be magical. And that energy go through the guitar. And that is why the sound waves coming out of the guitar are what cast the magic. So I think just a regular old guitar will be fine here. And I feel for the aesthetic, it needs to be black. Most likely. Which means I've technically drawn the incorrect guitar here. I should technically have done this one. The one that does this. It's not be so fucking chunky. Holy shit. I That's like this, but it also like it does like a little turny turn there. Like that is what I'm looking for. You know what? For the sake of both of us, I'm just gonna keep it like that. For the sake of both of our sanities, we're just gonna leave it at that. Oh, I'm gonna do a quick stretch though. I hope we're all Gucci. We're all doing fine on this Friday afternoon into evening. All right. Oh, ad break in progress. Oh, great timing for my stretch then. All right, water drink. Feeling better. This side a little bit thicker just to compensate for the fact that that's the side that has the 3D effect. Okay. This needs the doo-doo-doo-doots now, the little tuners. What just happened? What did I accidentally push here? Oh, I see. Maybe I should make this neck a little bit longer. Like I'm already at the edge. I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's right. This is all on the same layer. Oof, these are not. Ooh. These are not in the correct spots. Like, it's a bigger, yes, but it is also slightly misaligned, also yes. I was like, I know I have this button bound to something. You put so much into these cards. I'm definitely procrastinating, is what's actually happening here. What's happening is very thinly veiled procrastination. Because I don't want to do. I don't know what to do with the colors yet. And I'm still very unsure of the aesthetic I want to go with. Um, Full Sen. So I'm big committing to a lot of detail on this guy. Full disclosure, what is happening is that I'm procrastinating. I just heard a voice. Like just a random voice somewhere. Interesting. I'll try not to think too much into that. All right. Continuing on with this. All right. I'll color these later. I'll do like a good blocking in. How do you hold a guitar? I'm so glad I put all these strings here to make this as wildly as confusing as possible for me. Let me tell you how tempted I was to just leave it as the neon background. After stream, I kind of just left everything open while I worked on some other stuff. So I was looking at it for a little bit. There's nothing I can do here to make this not look as weird as it does. I'm gonna look at this again. I'm gonna make, first of all, this thingy a little shorter. Because technically these are all bent. But that I don't know how to do that, so Instead, this is where we're at. Do you guys know there was a show called One Hand on the Neck and Some Support at the Bottom of the Base, either a strap or just on the knee? Yeah, it looks like this guy has a strap going. Or do you think I could take this? Can I take this to where he only had 4 fingies? It definitely does look better with 5 fingies. Oh, I wanted to look at this song. Because I wanted to see this artist. Because this song is in Nahuatl. It did take me a couple listens to realize that this was in Nahuatl and not Spanish. And I wanted to see if she was a Nahuatl singer. It does look like she mainly sings in Spanish or English. But it does appear that here and there she has some songs in what I can only assume to be Nahuatl. Now, I don't know Nahuatl, so I cannot tell you with certainty that it is Nahuatl. But looking at the name of the song, it looks like Nahuatl. It's called Iknoquicatl. Iknoquicat. 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 And the song before that is Xochipitzawa. Xochipitzawa. I don't know how the Z goes in Nahuatl. And that's also by the same artist. Interesting. Nahuatl being the indigenous language, one of the indigenous languages of Mexico. I think that's as not weird as we're gonna get that hand looking. And we're just gonna have to deal with it, I think. All right. Going back to this. Alright. How do we... Ba-ba. Like that. Trying to decide what's part of this and what's part of the background. Nightmare. Nightmare fuel. Alright, and then we have some filigree there. I can't wait for us to all go on this adventure of how I'm gonna get this hand on here. Alright, so you have that there. So that means... we're gonna have some frets there. Then the peaks over on this side. We'll get small. Okay, did you guys know there's a show called The Secret Life of Mormons or something like that? I've never watched it, but I keep seeing people reacting to things that happen on that show. And it's wild to me. Like, truly everything I learned about Mormonism is against my will. So I need this to come down here. Yeah, I've not watched it. It's, from what I hear, it's absolutely fucking wild. Which, like, I could have guessed. Um, okay, here's what needs to happen. I need to move these guys a little bit more this way. Because all of this needs to move on the diagonal up a good bit. Oh, shit. One of the shows, though, that I'm interested to see how it plays out that's come out recently is Agatha All Along, the spin-off show from WandaVision. Because I love Catherine Hahn. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I love Aubrey Plaza. And I love the work a lot of these actors have been in, and obviously Patti LuPone is phenomenal as Patti LuPone. Okay, back to this. Over here. Do you go straight down? No. You have a good little angle going here. And then you also go in. Obviously, it's a real short little inn. Like that is what the jacket's gonna be. Where the jacket's gonna be. I've seen clips from the first 2 episodes that have come out so far. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Because Agatha was definitely a fan favorite, I would argue, from WandaVision. And they really fucking fumbled the Scarlet Witch with Multiverse of Madness. So I'm curious to see if they like redeem themselves in some way with this show, or if they'll even attempt it. Okay. We're gonna go with that. And this is a very so hard to see. Yeah. It works if they're walking. Okay. If they're Christopher Walken out here. Oh my god, he's leaning so hard. Oh, he's doing such a deep lean. Oh, I always fucking do this. Okay, hold on. The top is fine. It all to go away. Just real quick. I need it all to just fucking go away. It's so hard to see. There we go. Let's just have a clean white background here. to work with. Let's not do a white background because I'm using pure white on a lot of this. Grab this. Okay, maybe not that off-white. There we go. Okay, now we can see this a little bit better. Okay. Let me just click on a couple of things. Let me go back here. It was bothering me seeing all the notifications. I have to throw a guy down that goes straight down. We definitely immediately have a mean lean going on. Our line is definitely diagonal here. That's the lane we have going on. That's the line. Well, since I have that on the... what else is on this guideline? Anything of import? Oh, I can easily delete that. Okay, we'll keep that line there for now, just so I know what's happening. Yeah, let's do that one instead. All right, let's clean this up. I say as if I'm gonna keep these feet in any way, shape, or form aside from the angle. All right, let's come back down here and delete this whole line. I can't wait for you guys to see this be the most detailed card, and then the rest of them not be even remotely this detailed. Seven. Okay, I have a little under 30 minutes before I have to head out. I also want you guys to know that a narcissist has gaslit me because he definitely sent me a message. I definitely saw the red little dot there, but when I went to go check the message, there was nothing new there. So Dylan sent something and then immediately deleted it, and I'm wildly curious what it was. It's his birthday on the 24th, I think. It's a big chance it's planning stuff. Let me take a drink of quick water. If I could get these pants done at least blocked in before I have to head out, that'll be phenomenal. That is, at this very moment in time, my goal today. I was hoping to get more done, but I did go on a diatribe earlier today. Is that the correct word? I don't know. Speaking of fucking diatribe, I got a message yesterday afternoon about a fan fiction that has not been updated since before quarantine happened. And all their author's notes said, it hasn't been 3 years, right? It's still 2020. I'm like, fam, it is almost 2025. What are you talking about? You've been gone for for 4 to 5 years. What are we saying, bud? It's so funny. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Can I see your feetsies? I'm assuming it's just like nondescript boots. Sure is. And all you see is the bottom of them. Let me tell you, the person who made this playlist loves Juan Gabriel. This isn't Juan Gabriel, but they have like 4 or 5 songs on here that are Juanga. What the fuck button was that? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm getting pissed off at these legs. There we go. Jesus fucking Christ. As if that was that difficult. Oh my god. Fucking god damn. All right, there we go. All right, just making sure it goes all the way down. It does. Why was it? All right. That took so long. Let's see. Typically, these have like a. All right. I'm just gonna make sure I get the first half of this. And now I hate all of the first attempts at this. Good, 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 good. Make this smaller. Will that make this easier? It absolutely does not make it easier. Okay. Wait, now how hard was that? Anyways, I read the chapter and I have no idea what's happening. Not a singular clue what's happening in that story. I was like, I remember reading this. Hey, Rob, what's up? Hope you're doing well. I was like, I remember reading this. I'm sure it'll come back to me as I read this chapter. I have not a singular clue what's happening in that story. But the real issue is that it's a 36 chapter story. So and several thousands of words. So it's like it's not like a quick little recap I could do. It would be a whole ass commitment. I remember liking the story. I remember being sad when they stopped updating because they used to update so often all the time. Well, it's probably easier if I just do this and then I do the strings over it. I'll think about what I want to do here. Doing good. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing good. I'm very happy because I am no longer going to be super fucking stressed for at least a little while. So I'm happy to like be stabilizing my schedule again. I'm slept so good last night. And I woke up at an hour that wasn't super early. So I'm very happy about it. I'm just gonna outline this. Which is a good thing because I have plenty of things happening in October. The least of not being having to do this whole deck of tarot cards. But as always, I'm hoping that me taking forever on this first card means that I'm going to be able to just spend a lot of the next I'll have enough of the aesthetic figured out. So everything else just goes a little bit faster. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been lurking here and there the last few days. How's the progress? Well, I have this guy drawn out now. I still haven't done much on the background as of yet. Mostly because I'm the most anxious about the coloring the background. I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do. So instead, I'm procrastinating and doing the mariachi. And hoping that the rest of it will just come to me. Which is not exactly a foolproof plan, but it is a plan. And I'm just really hoping that I mean it's worked out for me so far. Where things have kind of fallen into place. I'm also trying to figure out a solid, like, rune system. That's the other thing that I'm trying to like establish as I'm thinking about this. This guy I think is going to be unique purely because I am making him bard-ish. Okay. Sorry, I'm really trying to see how the flippity flap to do this. Close enough. Close enough. I can definitely get away with creating a little bit more space between everything. I'm gonna put this over here. Maybe some leaves here, some leaves here. Okay. What else is going on in this? Let's do a couple of dots around the place. Just fill that one in. I don't like that I went against the grain here. I wanted to try it out, see if I would like it. I do not like it. Actually, on the opposite spectrum, I absolutely hate it. So I'm just gonna go back to doing that. Oh, my back. Oh, that was a good stretch. All right. So we're gonna do it like this. And we're gonna hope and pray it looks like something. I feel like that's too big of a petal, but like we're just gonna have to live with it, you know? Maybe don't live with it. I will say I'm excited for spooky season to come up. I look forward to playing some spooky Minecraft on stream for you guys with Kalino. It should be fun. I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat, but I'm hoping to be brave for you guys. Damn, this is really looking like something, and definitely not a good something, but we're just gonna keep trying. Okay, look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm up here. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna copy that. We're gonna paste that. We're gonna bring that down here. You to remember that erasing right now is me just painting. Gonna get that done. All right, okay. Oh man. Okay, 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 okay. We did that, I did that. And basically, I'm just going to take this just for time's sake. Go ahead and just take this. I'm gonna copy that. We're gonna paste that. And bring this over here. Throw that up there. Let's throw this up here. Like right there. I want this down below. Perspective wise, this should actually probably be a little bit thicker, huh? Something like that. Sealed this flower from over there. And I'll just clean up. Let's clean this up. I don't know why it has like a black outline on this side. I don't mind it. Like, I don't hate it. I just unexpected. Okay. Let me also just do these shoes really quickly. How do I want to do this? I'm gonna make them a little darker. Oh, that's right. Hold on. Let me merge these layers. Gotta go fast, ironically enough. And that's the movie I'm gonna go watch with friends here in a little bit, which is the reason I'm rushing. And I have to do a good bit of work. All right. Next time we are going to finish this guy off. We're going to make some decisions about the color of the magic in this world, or if there's just different magic colors in general, depending on the vibes. But I'm going to call it there for today. Next week, I should be on a normal schedule instead of like this odd like weird schedule I'm on at the moment. Where I'm just like kind of all over the place. It's just been a weird week. It's a weird week, and because it was a weird week, I allowed myself to kind of like plan around that by just planning a lot of things during the evenings. But yeah, so our Fool here is coming along. Our Fool here is coming along. Like I said, actually, I'll probably finish this guy. Finish the guy on the weekend. I don't know how much I'll get done on the background in the weekend, but I think I'll finish him at the very least. Our mariachi. And then probably on Monday, as far as I know. Hold on, let me see. Let me look at the good old calendar and see how things are going. Yeah, I shouldn't have anything on Monday. So if all goes well on Monday, we'll probably be back doing this. Like I said, starting in October, like October 1st, probably. Schedules still need to be cemented in. But on October 1st, it might be the very first day of our 100 days of horror over in our Minecraft series that Kalino and I are going to be doing. This Sunday, I'm not on any stream. Next Sunday, the 29th, I will be over on Practical Orthosmophoria's channel. Thanks for the same. Thanks for showing up, Rob. I really appreciate that. I need to take off Trooper off of that. I'm not on any in any show on Trooper's channel. The cards I'm working on at the moment are for a game I'm going to be doing on my own channel on the October 30th. So a little over a month from now is when that's going to be happening. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the game Tangled Blessings, as you can see over there in the corner. And the game is played with tarot cards, and me being me, I must go above and beyond, and therefore I'm making all the tarot cards. There are 70 something of them, but 22 of them are wholly unique. Then the other 56 are basically like playing cards, where it is, let's see if I remember them. Cups, swords, pentacles. What's the fourth one? Swords, cups, pentacles. It's one in the middle. I don't remember. I'm not a tarot gal, so I don't really remember. I don't really know much about it. Wands. How can I forget? It's a magic game. It's swords, wands, cups, and pentacles, and it's 14 cards of each. And you could think of them as suits, like spades, diamonds, hearts, and clovers. So it's just it's 4 different suits, and they each have 14 cards. 2 through 10, an ace, a knight, a queen, and a king, and a page. So instead of having 3 non-numerical cards, it has 5. So, or 4 non-numericals. This one has 5, which is why it's 56 instead of 52, which is a standard deck. But because it is just like cups, wands, swords, and pentacles, that just means I have to figure out a way how to incorporate, 1 through 10 cups. So I'm crossing my fingers, man, that those go pretty fast. I don't believe I'm gonna go really in depth with those. I'm going a little bit in depth with the major arcana cards, which is where our Fool comes in. He's the very R0 card of these 22, the 21 technically, if you start at 0. It goes to 21 instead of to 22, but it is 22 cards at the end of the day. And these are the ones that are a little bit fancier. We have the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. All of those are what we have going on right now. What I'm working on, truly what I'm really doing, is I'm working on trying to figure out a stylistically what I want to do here. And my main struggle right now, because this is Dark Academia magic-y, is trying to mesh and I'm trying to do Dark Academia that is not rooted in English, like England Dark Academia. The idea of just, like kids who go to Oxford and like higher upper class English people. I'm trying not to do that, and I'm trying to do something more centered in Mexican culture, because I think that would be more interesting. That's more interesting to me, to try and challenge this idea of Dark Academia being a white experience. And yeah, so because Dark Academia, as deleted over on Reddit says, it's an intersection of art, history, culture, and tradition, which is all over the world. The only thing is just trying to figure out how to make certain things feel a little bit darker, because it is about intellectualism and all of the other things I just said, so we started off with the Fool, we started off with the Mariachi, because and also trying to take that challenge and also mesh it with the tarot card, which has its own meaning, right? Like the Fool, for example, is innocence, according to thetarotguide.com. It means when it's upright, which is the only way we need to worry about it in this game. There is no reversed in this game. We only have to worry about the upright. It is innocence, freedom, originality, adventure, travel, foolishness, carelessness, idealism, youth, spontaneity, lack of commitment, and new beginnings, which to me reads naivety. And because this is a story rooted in a magic academy, in dark academia, and it's about, you get invited when you're an adult. This is an adult academy. That means, something different when you think about naivety and innocence and stuff like that, because in theory these are people who have life experience at this point instead of children. So someone who is an adult and still experiences this innocence, this freedom, this idealism, and has this this spontaneity and youthfulness. My first thought was a frat bro. That was my first thought. Like a guy standing on a lawn drinking a beer at like 10-11 a.m. on like a Saturday or Sunday morning, with like their little tank top on and some shorts, flip-flops on the lawn. Lawn is still dewy, looking out at people doing their walk of shames and walking their dogs, etc. And just standing there and not a thought in the world, just this carelessness that one can only dream to have. And I wanted to take that and put it with, I needed to dark academize that. And I was like, okay, well, if we take that energy, who would I put it into? And I chose someone who would play music, right? I thought like, oh, a musician. Well, first I thought an actor, but actor was probably a little too hard for me to try and like visualize on a card. And I was like, okay, maybe not an actor, but what if like a musician. A musician has that same energy. So, okay, musician. What about a mariachi? And what if they're like busking in the streets? What if they're not even busking? What if they're just like walking around? Like all of that intertwined is why we ended up with our mariachi as our fool. But that's our plan. That's my struggle. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I gotta go. Don't forget to nice each other. Don't forget to compassionate. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye. And the next one should be on Monday. Just to repeat that, it should be on Monday. I gotta go though. So no like extra anything. I'll talk to you guys later.